Nominees for the 2023 Blues Music Awards recently came out, and once again, a lot of fans are not too happy with the selections. Let's go to the comments left on the article releasing the nominees on bluesrockreview.com. And here we go. Can't believe you left out Anthony Gomes in the awards. Very hard to believe Anthony Gomes was not included. Should have been at the top of the list.
Hey, Pete, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
We didn't leave out Anthony Gomes. We have no say in the matter, first of all. Just like, and I'm not trying to make an excuse, but we are not the selection committee.
Yes, we are not the selection committee. Okay, let's keep rolling on the comments here. I agree, but you have to remember this is like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You got to be in the club to be recognized. I've known Anthony since 2002, and he is the real deal, but not a conformist to the old school blues. Even though B.B. King loved his style, the Blues Club is not going to give in to the new style that AG offers. Remember, Elvis was a renegade. All right, rolling
Pete,
on.
Decent point, right? Decent point.
Yes. I cannot believe you have not included Eliza Neals with her album Battered to the Bone. Independent labels are not given a fair shake. Where's Eliza Neals? 100% agree. Anthony Gomes should be included. Bro, where's Edgar Winter? Never forget the greatest blues artist, Peter Green. Hello, Joe Bonamassa? Where's Joe Bonamassa? Who made up this list? Buddy Guy and Tedeschi Trucks Band belong, but you missed a lot of people who have dedicated years to the blues. Just like our government, if you don't pay the right man your dues, you don't get nominated to bring the blues.
We're tangenting here with that comment, right?
I am totally stunned that the most talented blues guitarist on the planet, Joe Bonamassa, is not included in any category. Makes me question the legitimacy of these awards. Absolutely agree. Totally agree. Many issues with the list. More Tedeschi Trucks Band, please. Totally agree with you. Where's Joe Bonamassa? Nominated for a Grammy. Now that's referring to last year, but not a Blues Music Award. Need to look at his body of work in 2022. No one has created, produced, played, and advocated more for blues music and musicians than Joseph Leonard Bonamassa. Nice to see Joanna Connor nominated, but no Joe Bonamassa or Samantha Fish? Really? How about Robin Trower? I miss Robert, John, and the Wreck. In my eyes, they are current pioneers in blues and Southern rock, besides Selwyn, assuming referring to Selwyn Birchwood. What about Jeremiah Johnson? New tunes rock the charts. Stupid. Where is Greg Allman, Eric Clapton? These people don't know or understand. Another year and Davy Knowles is still not on the list. Wow. My personal opinion is that there is a lot of mainstream blues that it's nothing else than rock played within a 12 bars format. Songs overproduced and overpolished. Real blues is slowly going to disappear, I'm afraid. All right. Over 50 years in the business, a huge contributor to the genre from the beginning, and is still being overlooked. Blues rock album category should have nominated Robin Trower and 2022 album No More Worlds to Conquer. Terrific album through and through. No disrespect to the current nominees, but come on, what's it going to take for this guy to get some of the recognition he clearly deserves? Where the hell is Joe Bonamassa? Not adding Joe Bonamassa makes as much sense as Dolly Parton in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think you missed the mark, voters. Why no Susan Tedeschi or Derek Trucks? Okay, I'm a fan of the Tedeschi Trucks Band, but both should still be on the list. Joe Bonamassa too, Samantha Fish, Beth Hart. Where is Marcus King? Tab Benoit should be a candidate for Best Guitar Player. I'm so happy to see Laura Chavez is up for Instrumentalist Guitar. I'd love to see her win this. Okay, so of those comments, the majority not too pleased. Willie, what are your initial thoughts on nominees for the Blues Music Awards and kind of this response?
So the first thing that, like, as you were reading the comments, I was trying to keep them straight in my mind. I think the first thing is that this category, and I'm not trying to cast shade on pop or different genres, but the first thing that when I hear those comments, it is a very educated subset of listeners. These are people who have invested a lot of time. So I was trying to keep the comments straight. There's a lot of comments that have merit. I think the biggest thing, Pete, is that we have to keep in mind there's only a couple spots, and there's more people who have merit than allocated slots. And everyone's got their favorite horse in the race. It's pick 5, Pete, but it could be 12. But we got to pick 5. And so I think those are some really thoughtful comments. Whether we're talking about Ted Benoit, the Anthony Gomez comments make sense. Joe Bonamassa, okay, maybe not this year, but he's been around before, and he'll be back again. Pete, I think sometimes these awards bring more controversy than they're worth. Do you think that, Pete, let me ask you this. Do you think the musicians care as much as the fans about the awards? Not about the music, but about the awards.
I think a portion of them definitely do. I think if you're a musician and you put your heart and soul into your work, you do want to be recognized for it.
Sure.
Now, a lot of artists are going to come out and say, I don't care about awards. I don't do it for awards. And there are artists out there that don't do it for awards. A lot of them don't do it for the awards. However, people still want recognition. They kind of want that approval. And I think even though some artists come out and say, I don't care, like this awards don't matter to me, receiving that validation, it does mean a lot. You know, these artists, they make a lot of sacrifices. They spend a lot of time on the road. It's really nice to be recognized for that work. And when you're an artist that's been slugging it out on the road year after year after year, you've been putting out a lot of good music, you've been building up a fan base, and you never get that recognition, I think it can be very discouraging for a musician. You know, with that said, it's not the end all be all, okay?
Right.
How often, Willie, do people complain about the Grammys? It happens all the time.
It is. I feel like the Grammys only exist for people to complain about them.
And as you said, Willie, there is only so many slots.
Right.
You know, congratulations to the nominees that did get nominated. However, there are a lot of fantastic musicians that, for whatever reason, they never get nominated for the Blues Music Awards, even though they're putting out fantastic music year after year after year after year. There's only so many slots, as you said, but people are going to complain no matter what. There is no perfect, awards, no perfect set of nominations where everyone is going to be happy. Every year, Willie, Blues Rock Review does the top 20 albums of the year. Okay. And I feel like we do it in a pretty fair way, where 50% of the vote is from the staff of Blues Rock Review, people who write the reviews over the course of the year, and then 50% of the vote is the fans. So it gives everyone an opportunity to have their voice heard. Now, my top 20 is not going to be the same as your top 20 or whoever is viewing the top 20. But you try to get to a place that is fair. And I think that's the issue that people have, is they may look at it and not think that it is fair, because they see a lot of similar names year after year. And then they're thinking, well, why isn't X artist, why isn't my favorite artist ever nominated, even though my favorite artist is putting out phenomenal music every year? It doesn't make any sense. That's the sentiment that a lot of fans have when they view this.
Okay, so we've spoken about this. Yes, there is, for lack of a better word, there is some lobbying. But Pete, we've spoken about this. This isn't necessarily the music friendship. This is the music business.
Yeah.
So is there some, cutthroats to extreme, but is there some competition to like get that album put in front of the right eyes, in front of the right people, and right in front of the ears of the people that are making these decisions. Sure. And does that take a little bit of clout? It does. So yeah, you see some of the same names. I don't know. It's award shows. This is like I said. I think sometimes the Grammys, and we can say this about the Oscars, we can say this about any award show. It's great. You know what it is? It's great fodder for discussion. When you read those comments, Pete, I tried to keep them straight in my head, but there were a lot of good points, and I could talk to all those comments. And there are things that I agree with and things that I disagree with. But I think at the end of the day, you love who you love. It's nice, and you are right on this. It is nice to be recognized because these musicians, the time they spend on the road, it's bizarre. I think most people don't really understand. They watch a music video or they listen to an album and they're like, oh, like that sounds like a great life. And you know what? If you love it, it is a great life. But these people work incredibly hard. And I don't think people really gather that. And you're right. So it's nice to be recognized. And that's where people get uptight. It's like, why don't I get recognized? Why doesn't my horse get recognized?
Yeah,
Only
and
so many slots.
So the Blues Music Awards, the nominees, it's not like everyone can just easily vote. So if you do want to vote, like you have to register as a member of the Blues Foundation, which does cost money. So
right.
You would be supporting the Blues Foundation, but it does, it's not like it's free to vote. So that does limit who can vote. And when you have kind of a paid membership like that, it does sort of make it like a club in terms of who can vote and who can't vote. So if you do want to vote, you can go to the Blues Foundation website and you can register and vote. If you want to make your voice heard, if you feel it's important and you want to do that, you can feel free to do that. But yeah, so let's break down a couple of the categories, Willie.
Okay. Let's do it.
Since we are Blues Rock Review, we're going to break down some of the blues rock categories. And keep in mind, too, reading some of the comments, the audience...
We don't make any of these choices.
Yeah, that is true, Willie. But also keep in mind, these are the Blues Music Awards, not the Blues Rock Music Awards. Nope. So a lot of the people who are viewing Blues Rock Review are blues rock fans. And so while we love the blues at Blues Rock Review, and a lot of our fans love the blues, a lot of our readers also love artists who take the blues and go in different directions and are evolving the genre and aren't afraid to branch out from what is traditional blues. Right. So, and that's another conversation for another day, Willie, that we could go on and forever and ever, but just kind of keep that in mind. So let's start with blues rock albums. So these are the nominees. We've got Albert Castiglia, I Got Love, Bernard Allison, Highs and Lows, Colin James, Open Road, Eric Gales, Crown, and Tinsley Ellis, Devil May Care. So, Willie, when you take a look at the nominees for Blues Rock Album, kind of what are your thoughts there? And who do you see taking that one home?
Who do I see? I feel like it might be Castiglia. My personal opinion, I think it's Eric Gales. And we have this discussion, and you mentioned earlier about people taking it in a different direction. I think Eric Gales is the type of artist that just when he gets up and he plays and when he writes, nothing is off the table. So when you listen to an album like Crown, the songs are different. They go in different directions. There's different influences. And it makes, for me, I thought it was one of the best albums of the year. I think a lot of people felt that way. And I think I love Tinsley Ellis too. Like I love a lot of these people. But I think the Crown album is just a reflection of how versatile and creative Eric Gales is. So if I was the only member on the committee, I would choose Eric Gales. Pete, do you?
Yeah, I think these are all solid albums. Kind of taking a look at them, Albert Castiglia, I Got Love, Bernard Allison, Highs and Lows, Colin James, Open Road. Those albums all got nice reviews on Blues Rock Review. Eric Gales, of course, with Crown, he was voted to Blues Rock Review's top 20 albums of 2022. And Tinsley Ellis, Devil May Care. Tinsley's always putting out good stuff, and that got a nice review as well. Looking at that list, I would say I think it's Eric Gales is going to get it. I think it's his turn. And one of the reasons why I feel that way, obviously he's got nominated for the Grammy this year, and I had a chance to speak with him about that. So if you click the interviews tab on bluesrockreview.com, you can read that interview with Eric Gales. But one of the reasons why I think this is his year is he's really been getting this acclaim for this album pretty universally across outlets. Yeah. Not only like blues rock, guitar world, kind of circles, but also he does seem to be getting embraced by more of the traditional blues community. And I think one of the things working for Eric Gales is everybody loves a good redemption story.
Yes.
And Eric Gales is a story of redemption. He came on the scene at a very young age, and then it's well documented, some of the battles he's had with addiction. And, now he's been sober for quite a while and really turning out some of the best music of his career and really getting more of that audience that he's really deserved for quite some time. And I think everybody loves, a comeback or a redemption type story. And I think you take all those factors into account, and I really feel Eric Gales, it's his year.
I think that what you're saying about it's his turn in the story, I think that's great. I would add this, is I saw him when he was with the Allman Family Reunion, that traveling awesome musical circus. And we're talking names and great players and singers up the wazoo. And one of the things that stood out to me, and this you see this sometimes whether it's music or sports or whatever, is that everyone's sort of playing. And then it was Eric Gales playing. And I felt like everyone just almost was playing a little less, because I would watch the people on the stage who were playing with him, and they had sort of become part of the audience too, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
They were sort of stunned that, like, all of a sudden it's like, hey, you guys got to keep playing too.
Yeah.
But it's just Eric Gales, and, the facial expressions, the way he is like on a different planet. And then we all get sucked into it in a good way. I think he's a true genius, and I don't like to use that word too much because I think it gets overused. But he truly is. And if you ask these guys, go ask Kenny Wayne Shepherd, go ask Joe Bonamassa, ask them, who do you think are some of the best players ever? They're always like, oh, Eric Gales.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so happy, and he gives so much credit to his wife, who pulled him out and pulled him back into music. And the cool thing about Crown is, like, I don't think Crown's going to be his best album. I think he's got better albums coming. He's just that freaking good. Pardon my language.
All right. So we're both predicting it, an Eric Gales victory there. We'll have to see, though. All right. Contemporary blues album, Willie. And the nominees, we've got Buddy Guy, The Blues Don't Lie. Diana Greenleaf, I Ain't Playing. Geneva Magnus, Hard to Kill. Larry McCray, Blues Without You. That album was voted Blues Rock Review's #1 album of 2022. And Shamika Copeland, Done Come Too Far. What are your thoughts there, Willie? My
thoughts are, I am with the blues rock crowd, album of the year. I think Larry McCray, in my heart of hearts, is maybe the best album of the year. And once again, not just because of the story. It's just a tremendous album. Like, when we talk about blues, when we talk about music from the heart and the soul, that's Larry McCray. Mr. McCray to you, by the way. I think who's going to get it, though? I think it's going to be Buddy Guy, because I don't know how many more albums he's going to put out. And I'm not saying that he's not deserving, but I think he might get a nudge because he's nearing the end of his career. By the way, if I could only hope that I could be that active and creative when I'm that age. But I think, Pete, if I were the Blues Rock Committee myself, I would pick Larry McCray.
Yeah,
What do you think, Pete?
I look at that, and obviously, like, Larry put out a phenomenal album. You know, he's also a fantastic story. You know, the guy hadn't put out an album in 7 years, Willie. And then he puts out this album, and it's obviously a great album. It's gotten fantastic response. I look at the list, and I think Buddy Guy is going to get it. I mean, I
think so too.
It's also a great album. You know, I just feel like, you know, I would be shocked if Buddy Guy did not get it.
Okay, so then, Pete, I'm going to ask you this question. And I feel like this, once again, is something that comes into the conversation when we talk about awards. Do you feel that sometimes these awards go to people or bands for the hard work? Do you think, let me rephrase, do you think that part of the constellation...
They're almost like a Lifetime Achievement Award sometimes?
Yes.
Or looking at a body work?
Continue.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you know what I'm going at.
And that's not, you know, a detriment to anyone. But the thing is, you build an audience over time, and you build notoriety and respect over time. And sometimes it is because of an accumulation of effort through a sustained period of time. I think absolutely.
Do you think that's right? Do you think that's right?
The case.
Do you think it's right?
Do I think it's right? I mean, I don't necessarily think, you know, I think an award given in a certain year should be based upon the body of work for that year. So right. I don't think it should be, but that is, I think, a factor that plays in a lot of voters' heads. I mean, think about it like this, right? If you know of an artist, you've been listening to them for many, many years, and then a new artist comes on the scene, right? But you don't know about this artist, and you know it comes down to basically it's a toss-up, okay, right? You know, they're both pretty equal. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's the new person or the one with the reputation that, you know, an artist who's earned a reputation over many years? It's probably going to be the artist that has earned a reputation over many years, because there's some comfort there in just saying, okay, well, I know this musician, you know, I think so. Tiebreaker goes to them. I think that is the case in many things, Willie.
Sure. You know, and I don't necessarily think that's a detriment. The only reason why I'm pointing it out is because going back, way back, we were talking about the comments section. I feel like sometimes the disagreements with the nominees or the winners are because there's a lot of fans who come at these awards at different angles. Mm-hmm. I think some people are more of like, and you heard it in the comments, he's been around, she's been around, where's their time? And you have other comments who are like, look, like you and I said, like, look, we're not trying to talk about what happened in 2007 and how great that album was and how they got snubbed there.
Yeah.
But guess what? Different fan bases are thinking different things. And I do think that that's part of the reason why there's some arguments always around these awards, because I think that to each person, the award represents something unique to themselves. Some people are the diehard. I don't care if this person's been around for 50 years. If they don't have the best album, I'm not voting for it. Mm-hmm. And there are other people that are saying like, hey, look at the body of work. Oh my gosh, this is the icing on the cake of this person's career. Which one is right, Pete? Dealer's choice. I don't think anyone's right or wrong.
Well, congratulations to the nominees that were nominated for the Blues Music Awards. Obviously, there's a lot of deserving talent. At the same time, as always, with any awards show, there's going to be great artists that are left out. What do you guys think about the nominees for this year's Blues Music Awards? Let us know down in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your feedback.